You know, people, sometimes when you when you're grooving backstage and you're having this conversation with Mary Lou and Rich and Paul and Mark, you forget to press the go button. So we was in the back doing stuff. Sorry, Eden. We left you outside on the doorstep. Don't get
We were
mad.
getting work done.
Eden gonna be she over there. Mary Lou, Mary Lou, Doc. I know you can see
You
me.
guys let me in. Let me in.
Eden's outside banging on the door. Sorry, Eden. Uh, so that's very good. Yes, I think so. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between sort of authenticity and being authentic. Yeah, it's a complicated conversation. So I think we're going to talk about today.
I wonder then if we split this has to be two different topics. But I guess in order to get those into two, like then it could be three episodes because today could be talking about what these
Yeah,
two kind of concepts are because it's different interpretations of the same word and different application of the same word.
correct.
Like both
I like
being
that it's different
true.
applications of the same word.
Okay, yeah. That's the approach. That's the way we can go with it. Because like everyone's like, be authentic, be authentic. But depending on how you're applying this concept makes the difference. Are you typing in the same page as me? Because I don't see
No,
you
no, no, no.
anymore.
I'm typing something else.
Okay.
That's funny because you're like,
Okie dokie.
yo, I hear all of this clickety click, and then nothing is moving on this same screen with Doc.
I see nothing. Oh,
Uh,
Eden got her popcorn for the authenticity. I don't have a secret camera in your office, but I still do have you on my Find My Friends from Vegas. So I know Eden's movements. It's
oh,
like all
that's
my family
funny.
in
Oh
Eden.
yeah, from our Vegas trip, right? We had to know where
Yeah.
Eden was in case she got lost.
Okay, so it's like if we talk about authentic equals being honest, and then authenticity. Authentic. Having
You
a
know,
breakdown on on camera.
well, hey, wait a minute now.
Versus being
Mark
for
just
real.
brings up something that we should definitely talk about because I talked about this a little bit yesterday when I was on Twit. We talk about everything from sort of the American cultural diaspora, and a lot of times people in our audience are multilingual. So when they translate the stuff that we say, sometimes it comes off a little bit different, right? And so I want to use and I want to talk about an example. All right, let me show the notion. I want to talk about an example like when in Japan, right, we have what's known as uchisoto. And it's not intentionally two-faced the way Americans would call two-faced, but you definitely have your inside group and you have your outside group, right? So I might be this is going to sound crazy. Nobody take it too far, but I like to use really broad analogies in order to let the point set in. So I could totally be in a conversation with Eden and talk about a foot fungus or some, gastrointestinal problems because we that tight. I wouldn't necessarily go on the YouTube stream and talk about that. It's a known quantity that Eden is in the inside group. You know what I mean? So even in our hierarchy of the fam, I would definitely say Eden, Mary Lou, Rich, Paul, Luis, like these are some of the people that are tighter and they know more stuff about the things that go on in my everyday life, say than the people who are newly parasocial. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So in Japan, it's known as the Uchi Soto group, your inside group, your outside group. Uchi means house, Soto means outside. And so when you're
Oh,
acting different,
I see.
when you're acting different, Uchisoto, it's not the two-faced the way the Americans say it, right? It's just there's certain things that you never. It's too. You put a dash. There's a dash between the I
I
and
see it.
S.
Okay. I just was like looking it up. Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a difference just between your internal group and your external group. Like people that know me really well understand that if we're in a group of people and we got a whole bunch of people that we met, and of these new people, what can be said about the person I don't pick on? Paul knows to be true.
Yeah.
If I don't pick on you, like it has a meaning, and I don't know if we're gonna necessarily tell it because then there's the secret is out.
Let them
But
find out themselves.
yeah, you're
You
gonna
got to discover
FAFO,
that on the journey. Yeah.
right? Right? Because I'll be like, that guy, he always picking on so and so. You're good. If I ain't got nothing to say about you, yo, Voldemort, we're probably in a different. Stop it, Paul. Just go ahead and stop it. I'm sorry, I broke Paul. You guys can't see Paul's face right now, but he's bleeding right now. Yeah. So there you go. That's the best way to explain that without going too deep, so we can save it. But yeah, I like that. What would be a good question for today? You know what? I think it'd be good to find out, and I would love for people in the chat before we start recording, if you could, and it might not fit in 250, but if you could, tell us what authenticity means to you. Not what we define it as, not what the internet defines it as, but what does authenticity mean to you? This I would like to know. I'm just super curious. And I'm pretty sure Yolanda's going to give us the legal definition. Sorry, Yolanda. Biggie said, no, I have to watch yesterday's tweet. Yeah, yesterday's tweet was good because we got into some conversations, just sort of about the way, we tend to talk about technology and news and things from a completely American perspective, and we forget that things are different in different countries. So, for instance, X got banned in Brazil, and then not Eli, what that boy name is? Elon. He was just going to ignore what the Brazilian government told him to do and just listen, Lex Luthor, you're not Lex Luthor yet. Stop pretending that. You do have to follow some rules. And, people here love to be like, well, it's my right to do such and such. And it's like, no, man, there's a difference between right to free speech and then just being an a-hole. You know what I mean? It doesn't even matter if it might be not protected under the First Amendment. There's certain things that you socially just shouldn't say. It has nothing to do with free speech, right? It has to do with being a functional member of society and not trying to be an a-hole. Boom. Yeah, see, there you go. I almost called Mary Lou Eden. Authenticity as a concept versus authentic as a descriptor.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. So this
There you
one's
go.
like concepts and then as a descriptor. I tell you, you guys, when you're building, if you can build out a GPT for your show once you've got some episodes, it's really, really helpful. Because I just kind of typed in, here's what I typed into the assistant today. I was like, today we're talking about authenticity versus authentic, meaning authenticity is being you and being honest about where you are in your experience, etc. Authentic being a tip often given by internet gurus, but the audience wants authentic. That the audience wants authentic, but really they want consistent. The final point being levels of Uchi Soto. Does this topic make sense? And this is what it spit out to me. It was like, yep, great. Part one, part two, part
it
three.
actually, and it knows what Uchi Soto is, which is funny.
Yeah. Well, it's I figured it could find that information. Uchi Soto. Yeah. And then And
I
then
want to give
Mary
you.
Lou and Doc share personal stories about how they navigate the balance between authenticity and consistency.
There you go. I want to put this in for being okay. Here you go. Here's one. I'm going to add this because I want to make sure that I cover this point. So in Notion Gang, in order to make sure that I cover this point, actually what I should have done, let me 86 that, do that twice, is I want to hit an actual enter and then paste. Because then I could take this particular element and color it so that I can remember to do it. Because this is what I mean. True authenticity isn't always appropriate, right? It gave a much better answer than my bubble gut answer. But pure unfiltered authenticity isn't always the best approach when it comes to professional context. For example, a surgeon, you wouldn't want to hear your surgeon show their authentic fear or doubt before operating. But trust you me, when I've been put in a position to do, as a paramedic, to do something, I got to tell the family like, oh yeah, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. Even though in the back of my head, I'm like, yo, this dude's dead. But I got to say we're going to be good because you don't want to freak the people out. And then, 30% of the time, you actually surprise yourself and you're able to revive the person. The other time, your initial assessment is correct and you're not able to revive the person. So, but you don't want to start out the gate just telling the family that all hope is lost, because it just causes a whole different situation. Okay, so let's get title. Authenticity dilemma, the balance between realness and consistency. Kind of dig that one. More than authentic. What your audience really wants. I kind of like that too. Breaking down authentic. Are you being true to yourself? No. Consistency over authenticity. I
think more than authentic.
I like more than authentic. I like a hybrid. Okay, here's a hybrid. More than authentic. The myth of authenticity. What it means to be real. You can skip the digital age.
More than authentic. What was the next part you said?
The myth of authenticity and what it means to be real. Ampersand.
Be real.
I use ampersand just to save on characters.
One is, I see. I never know which ones to capitalize and which ones not to. It's just every letter, right?
When I do titles, I capitalize everything except for of and the. Okay. But not in this case. The is prominent. You know what I mean?
Right, because it's the beginning.
Yeah, and actually on this one, I would capitalize all of it, but that's just me.
Because that's just the one. It's just the one word, right?
Yeah, it's a title casing. So I tend to do it like this. And I think
right.
I think that'll fit.
More than authentic, the myth of authenticity and what it means to be real. Okay. I like it. I like it. I like it.
I like it a lot.
Okay. Let's see. Are you just playing a part? Authenticity? Can you have both? I think that like the hook is
characters, so that's fine. It's too over, but it's fine. What'd you say about the hook?
We could do the authenticity myth.
Oh.
That'll get rid of 2 letters.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. Boom. Like it.
Yeah, I like this. Like the myth is fun because the myth being, this is what all the people are saying, authenticity, but it's like, there's more to it than that.
Okay, I'm going to do one thing and you guys can laugh at me, but I think this is appropriate.
Okay, yeah, I dig this.
Only because the way people read it, they'll be like, what? The authenticity myth? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a little
it triggers an evisceration.
Inflammatory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you mean myth? This is what everybody's been telling me.
Yo. And again, man, I gotta tell you, fam, most of the people that swear they're being authentic are nowhere near that.
Okay.
All right. Your package is delivered today. Thank you. I don't need to know that right now. Pimp. Yo, the spam gods are really, really good. Okay, the spam gods are really good.
Spam the food spam?
Yeah, I gotta tell you. Yeah, I got it. No, not the food spam. Oh, just because I'm from Hawaii, you think I eat spam?
I love spam.
I love spam. I got a whole closet full.
So good.
Yo, stop it, Paul. This is real. I got an email from Ryan Rogers about being a partner collaboration with Mint Mobile. Fam, if you know me, you know I am a Marvel slave. Like, I am diehard Marvel.
So Deadpool messaged
I know
you.
his name isn't Ryan Rogers, you freaking idiots. Okay?
Steve Rogers.
You know what
or
I'm saying?
Ryan Reynolds. Pick one or the other.
Reaching out on behalf of Mint Mobile about a collaboration, and it's from Ryan
and Steve Rogers doesn't work for
Man,
for
shut
Mint
up.
Mobile.
It's not Steve Rogers. Come on, son. Come on, spam gods. Do better. Do better. You ain't fooling me. Like, look at my content for real and see, like, if I would fall for some stupid crap like that. That's just great.
We're just names in a database, though. So
yeah. You know
okay,
what
there's
it
a couple questions of the days to pick from.
Case just said, being genuine self, caveat as I must have a clear identity who I really am to be comfortable with. I love this. Oh, Rich, man, the next time we're in the same space, I will make you some, homie. Yo, this is legit. If you got to go somewhere and you don't know if you're going to be able to sit down and eat later, you actually make these and put them in your backpack so that if you get stuck, you can go to town. And homie,
it's a snack.
Bruh,
oh, it's the best.
It's the best portable food in the game. It is literally the best portable food in the game. Oh man, I wish they would survive the mail over, which they won't, because I would make some and send it to Rich now, bro. It's so good.
No, we just gotta like do a make it with me kind of thing, like a cook it
tutorial. Let's see. Are the best compliment received the same? Yeah, dude, come on. Okay, I'm starting with Louise says, one of the best compliments you can receive as a creator is when someone meets you IRL, they say you're the same person that they see in the videos. I think that, boom. Bicky says, authenticity to me means being oneself without ego. That was good, but I have a whole conversation about ego, and I use the words literally, like the philosophical, the id and the ego, right? And so no human can be without ego. You'd be dead. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So I'm not going to rip the word apart at this moment in time. Authenticity, be yourself, consistent, not always easiest to do. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Authenticity means not being fake. All right, very good. All right, cool. We got some pinpointers. There we go.
So for the show question of the day, what did you ask in the chat here today? What does authenticity mean to you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we can keep that one because it seems like a lot of people got answers for that, so that's good. Right. That's wrong punctuation. Excellent.
Man, yeah, dude, this is actually good. I'm glad we're picking this topic apart, which is funny because those people who've been with me in the Go group know good and well I'll say some dumb shit in the Go group that I would never say on the internet. And it's not because I'm trying to hide it. It's just it's not appropriate. It would definitely get you canceled. And again, it's just the example makes sense to me. So it's the example that I use, but I would never say that in the out space because people who didn't understand where I'm coming from as a person could completely misconceive, whatever, misunderstand what I'm trying to say.
Question. Why do we have question in here twice? Question of the day, and then we have question.
We don't
What's
know.
that about? Don't know. We don't need both of those, and we also don't have a guest. So get out of here.
Out of here. Boom.
Okay,
I'm ready
so
to
we'll
dive
hook.
I'm ready.
Your audience wants you to be authentic, or we want to talk about how the inflammatory one, like internet gurus preach authenticity, but what are they selling you here? Here's what they won't tell you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fun.
All right, I got some key pointers. Boom.
All right, be right back.
Yeah, people be taking things out of context. The Bodhidharma. That's super funny, bro. That's super funny, Mickey. That's the spam day. Yo, we used to do an event here, Rich, in Waikiki. I don't know if it happened this year because I wasn't home, so it might have happened. But there's normally Spam Day in Waikiki, and it's like a big event, and people come out and show off their recipes. And then the collectors, you being in the premium type business, there's so many crazy spam collectibles, like up there with like Coca-Cola collectibles. Really, it's a really interesting sect of people that collect things, and there's a whole I guess tribe is a good word. There's a whole tribe around like the spam situation. All right, let's go. Man, I am at the very tail end of a chapstick, and I'm like, and I don't know what a new one is. I bought a 4-pack of new ones, and I put them where I can't find them.
That's my pick of the week is going to be Carmex.
Carmex? Oh, I used to always get it in the circle. You got to like Carmex in the tube.
Where is our pick of the week? Oh, here it is.
Oh, yeah, I should do that. That is important.
Get our link for that.
And we are pick of the week. I had several different ideas for a pick with the week, and now I don't remember none of them.
The Carmex every day. I'm just like, Will, do you have a Carmex in your pocket? Yes, because I always lose mine, and then I'll find multiple at a time.
That is so good. So good. Are you ready to start?
Yes, we're starting.
Everybody ready to breathe?
Yeah. I feel like Chad did a good job for us today. Now that we're like, 9 episodes in?
Yes.
She gets us.
I got it.
She gets us.
Yeah, it's funny how, and I feel like so many people give up before they have an opportunity to sort of find out how to make it work for them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think people, for whatever reason, give up way too early. And then they be like, oh, I don't like this, or it doesn't do this, or it doesn't do that. And I'm just like, well,
we got to give it some time.
You got to give it. You know what
I think it's people also have never managed things. Like when you manage a team, it takes time, right? You can't just like right away expect, someone new to the job to know how to do the job.
All right. Let's kick this one here for me and my DJ. Scum.
Oh, real quick.
Yes.
For my name, where it's like my name and my handle, can
Hmm.
you make that smaller or stack it? Because when I've been doing the shorts, yours fits perfectly, but mine cuts off on the sides. If that completely ruins your design, that's fine. But
Never mind.
if it works, I don't know if it would work.
Let's edit the text. And let's do this. And then let's do this. Bring. Oi, you have to unlock the scene, boy. Puntang ina. You have to unlock that scene, boy. That means I have to change the edit, but that's okay. No biggie. Because what happens is I don't put a background on the edit. I just lay it right over top of our names because it fit, but I'll fix it.
Mm.
Boing.
Yeah.
There.
So, because if it doesn't work, like, because I could also do that in post too, but
That's
if it causes you trouble, we don't have to.
It's absolutely.
We'll try this
okay.
one though. We'll see how this one
Everybody
looks.
know who we be anyway. With the help of Big
You
Bank
know
and
us.
the Master
We don't
G.
even
Get
say
up,
our
slow
names.
down,
We're just
wait
like,
for it to
whatever.
buy.
Here's some value. See you next week.
Here we go, people. Let's dive in. Woosah and 5. Oh, start and stop the recording. End all broadcast. 2, 3, 4. Start all broadcast. In 5, 4.
You might have heard internet gurus out there, people giving you advice on how to show up online, that you need to be authentic. But there's a little more to it. There's actually a lot more to it than just that. So we're going to get into that. We're going to break that down, and we're going to get you unstuck.
Yay. Yeah, man. It seems that I'm glad we titled this episode The Authenticity Myth. It is so much. I go to conferences, right? And we're in big group discussions or panels, or there's entire topics on this, and people are forever talking about, oh, all you have to do is just show up and be authentic. All you have to do is show up and be authentic. And I don't really think that is completely the answer or completely true. So one of the things that we would love to get into today is talking about authenticity, like what does it really mean to be real when you're out here creating content, trying to be professional and I don't want to say put on a good face, but that's the easiest way to explain it, I guess, is put on a good face.
Yeah. So before we get into what our opinions are and the differences that we want to break down for you, we want to know from you, the audience. You put a comment on this video, on this podcast, wherever you are watching this, put down your answer. What does authenticity mean to you? We need to know. Because I think you'll realize there's a lot more to it, right? Than just be authentic, Doc. Just be authentic.
Yeah, it's, I think one of the things that we've strived.
Was driven.
See, this is authentic right here. Your man don't speak English. One of the things that we've strived for this show is to try to denebulize the nebulous words that creators and quote unquote internet gurus love to use that I think have people feeling verklempt half the time. You have to be an old SNL person to know what verklempt is, but it's just basically slightly confused, a little emotionally stuck, because you feel like that, you got your master's degree from B2Go Greek College and you think that you should know this, but you don't know this because somebody used the word that's undefinable, right? Like, oh, all you need is love. All right, explain love, homie. You can't. So, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, stop using weird words like that to give people instructions or marching orders, because it leads to confusion and it leads to a feeling of less than. Sometimes it leads to feelings of inadequacy. Sometimes it leads to feelings of grandeur, where it's actually you're too gangster in what you think you got and you don't got. So I like to try to demystify some of these things.
Yes. And before we do get any further, one of our sponsors, want a big shout out, thank you to Scenery. That is the tool that we've been using to cut our episodes into shorts. If any of you need to know how to do that, Doc can teach you, I can teach you, we can show you, but it is like really, I don't know, we say game changer on things, but like it is a really good addition to your tech stack, like because for cutting things down into shorts, especially if you have things in a podcast format like we have, does a beautiful job.
Yeah, it's super funny, right? To say, you know, scenery is a game changer though, right? And it's funny because we always tell people like stop using those words that you don't really know what they mean or whatever. Like I literally just said that, but in the end of the day, scenery is definitely one of those. So I want to go ahead and put scenery on point. So yeah, big ups to scenery because it is absolutely that. It is a game changer. So thank you to scenery for helping us with this show. Okay, so
Yes.
I like this topic today, Mary Lou. I want to say, I guess we talked to some of our people in our studio audience prior as to what authenticity means, and one of the biggest like connecting thread, right? The connecting thread between these tends to work around the word real. But what is real?
What is real? Right?
Yeah.
Real is a construct. Real is
Oh,
perception.
I thought it was a video that was under a minute and 30 seconds for Instagram. I'm joking. keep going. I'm sorry. I had to.
It also is that, right? But that's with words. There's just different interpretations of the same word, especially if you don't see it written down because you're like, I don't know, different spellings or different things. Language barriers could also mean different things. So with authenticity, it's all depends on the context of it. So when you're asking what is real, what is the context that you were wanting to know more about?
Well, because see, that's the thing. People just say it all the time, and then they say you got to be it. But I'm like, okay, this is me. This is the craziness that's in my head, and I say this all the time. If you are told by somebody that you have to be real, and then you start trying to be real, you're not being real. You're working. You're working off of a command. You're working off of a catalyst. And you're self-adjusting. Whether you know it or not, when someone tells you to be real, you start self-adjusting to give them what they want. At the end of the day, the majority of us, unless you have a social disorder, are trying to be a people pleaser. It's funny because those of us who are people pleasers, myself, we often take that badge and be like, well, I'm a people pleaser, and so it has caused me trouble from here, here, and here. I think all people in general are people pleasers. And here's my prime example. When you're a little wee children, there's a trend going around the internet right now where someone is holding the bambino and they go to the wall and they go, and then they go, oh my God, baby, are you okay? Oh, and they start pobrecito and rubbing the back of the kid's head. And the kid goes, and the kid just breaks out into crying. The kid never hit the head, but the kid mirrored the behavior of the parent. And so from the time you're a wee lad or a wee lass, you attempt to give the people what they want. So if the parent's energy of an accident is screaming, crying, yelling, are you okay, coddling, pobrecito, sorry, that's oh little baby, poor baby, kind of thing. Sorry, I went all the way back to me. When I was a wee
He went
lad,
on that journey.
When you go to that and you act that particular way, your kid will mirror that. But if you go, oops, big fall, fell down, haha, get up, go ahead, wipe it off, you're good, you're okay, the kid would just pop up like, ain't no thing but a chicken wing, I fell down, let's go, right? So dogs even do this. So we are people pleasers by nature. So if someone tells you to be real, you start acting to the real you think they want. So if anyone tells you to be real, you're not really being real. That's what I'm trying to say.
And that goes back to a concept that, like, when I started acting, I was taking acting classes. It's like, are you acting the role because you're doing something, or are you just being, right? It's different. It's like trying or doing. So being real is now a command. Now it's an assignment, is to be real, as opposed to just like letting your human essence show, as opposed to just being you, which really only comes from practice. That's the kind of thing that, like, the more you do it, like Doc and I sitting here talking in this podcast is the same as us talking offline.
On the
Just
phone.
like,
Yeah.
this is just like always, right? Like, you guys
Yes.
see it if you guys have watched the behind the scenes of this. Like, when you see the beginning of the behind the scenes episodes that are on Doc's channel, you'll see us just basically talking the same way of trying to like unravel our thoughts. And then we're like, great, cool, let's share it with the people. That for me is what being real is. Now, when I was first starting out as a host, there was, I'm a host. Welcome to the show. I'm going to talk about this thing. And today we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then there's like, hey guys, we're going to talk about this today. What are you guys up to? Right? We can have the same kind of words, the same topics, the same mission, but one of them is a delivery and the other one is a conversation with a human.
I like this. A delivery versus a conversation with a human. I like this. Okay, so how does that stand apart in your head?
Between the two, right? And this is like,
Yeah.
again, the more you do this, the more it'll make sense. And it's like a sticky concept, because if you're not used to existing and being perceived in front of strangers, it might be a little challenging. Now, I get this all, like when people meet me out in the world, right? They're like, you are exactly like how you are in the videos. I was like, yes, because this is just, it's just on. That is just how she
That's
is.
just
That's
me.
how she is.
And to your
Right?
point, that's what Luis said in the pre-show. Luis said to him that authenticity is when someone sees you in person and go, oh my God, you're the same person in the video. And I agree with the both of you. That's what I don't know if I strive for that, but I definitely love that. That is a Tinkerbell juice right there. It's like I just did a little line of happiness when someone says, like, you're exactly the same idiot in real life. I'm like, yeah, man, it's just me. I no excuses. I'm no excuses. If you can have no excuses for yourself, I think that's definitely in the authenticity game.
Right. So then that's what we're talking about. Authentic as a descriptors
Concept.
As a concept, as a descriptor,
so authenticity
that you are consistent.
is a concept. Authentic is a descriptor, because authentic would be the adjective.
Yes.
Authenticity
so authentic
is the concept. There you go.
Right. So authentic as a descriptor. If I'm being authentic, that means when you see me on camera, when I'm doing my content, you meet me in person, we're going to have the same energy. I'm going to be just as excited to talk to you. I'm going to be just as curious about what you're up to. I want to know all these things. Now, if we do authenticity as a concept, as what I see people kind of explaining it as, is just be yourself. Just to show them whatever. That's like when people are like having breakdowns on camera, where that authenticity concept doesn't always work.
Exactly.
Because your authentic day is going to be might be off the rails. It might be off the rails. Like, I have dark days, and to my like really close people, which is what we'll get into later, we talk about like, inner circles and things like that. Like, not everybody's going to know what that is. They're going to see that and be like, oh, this isn't what I signed up for. Never mind. I'm out. Right. It just feels off the rails.
I get. So, I have the perfect example of this. This is a little inside baseball, and I'm sorry, but you guys are gonna have to hang with me on this. Recently, we have a new member to our inner circle, and that is Yolanda. Okay. And she came because she was really interested in learning how to use Ecamm to do her show about the Baltimore Ravens, which I hate. No, sorry, Yolanda. I love you though. So we She had lots of questions. She was so gung-ho. She said, I'm all in. And I really like this person's style and delivery of teaching. So she joined the membership. And so she came to the first Saturday class on a Saturday where somebody, let's just say, rubbed my feathers backwards to keep the Raven theme going. Somebody plucked a couple of my feathers. And so when she rolled into the Go group, I was on one. And I mean, I was deep on one. And then as I'm looking at as I'm having this conniption fit, I can see the look on her face like, ooh, I didn't know this was going to happen. But after she realizes where I'm coming from and what that meltdown, it's not, look, I wasn't hiding from anybody, but I probably wouldn't have those meltdowns in public just for the nature of the way I have them is really dark. And it might scare the common folk. But then she realized, okay, I'm going to have to put up with this idiot losing every once in a while. But the 95% of the good Doc I can get out is fine. I'm going to ignore that portion of him. It's just like we have a family member. We have to ignore the fact that they chew with their mouth open because otherwise they're dope. But when it comes time to dinner, you're like, I'm going to slap the living. Yeah, so that is what it was. It was definitely a surprise, but I'm happy that she stuck around and that didn't scare her off. Because if I'm on one, I'm on one. I'm sorry. I have no filter when I'm on one, and I normally don't have one, right, no filter in general. But there's some filters that I'm smart enough never to let out in this space. Let's put it that way.
All right. Well, while you talk about your filters, the Doc filters, I want to talk about the Doc pops that you're flapping around on your hand.
Oh, she is cute. Okay, Lou. Listen, that was too good. That is too good.
Soon our Doc pops will be delivered. Right. Soon we will all have our colors.
Yes.
Doc, you might see has more than one over there.
I spoke to the team yesterday. Ooh, switch. Nobody saw that. And we started doing packaging. We got most of the packaging down, so I'm going to make a couple tweaks today and get that back to them. The manufacturers have already started the manufacturing. So the first initial order is in, and now I am curating the list. You will probably, if you ordered one, you'll be getting contacted from me because I'm going to need your phone number because of international shipping. I am shipping directly from the factory to you. So if you get an email pretty soon, it's just me. I'm not trying to get all up in your business, but in order to send you something internationally, I need it. And I'm excited. So thank you for everybody who jumped in and supported the pre-order session. You can still order. Anybody ordering now is probably going to be looking closer to a Halloween-ish delivery date. And of course, I'm always trying to move faster than that because I worked at Apple. So we always tell you you're not getting it into December and October 1st, you'll get it. That's just an Apple move. So yeah, Mark just put his phone number in the chat. I'm going to write this on the bathroom wall and be like, hey fellas, if you want a good time, call this number. Yo, so thank you, Raylu. That was really funny how you did that. I like it.
I'm always listening. See, that's the authentic thing about me is that I am always listening and I will always try to I want people to win, right? So this is like my style as a host, as a co-host is like finding the threads to follow along, listening, and then knowing where we kind of want things to go, right? So Doc said filter, and then Doc pops are filters. Look fresh, sound fresh, right? And then we got there, and then we get to talk about it.
You know what's funny? You mentioned something because you had mentioned a little bit about your acting side, right? I find it funny so I live in Hawaii, and lots of celebrities come here to just chill, right? I'm at dinner. We're doing a celebration dinner, and Rob Schneider and Adam Sandler are sitting at the table directly next to us. And when they sat down, they were like, oh, good evening. And we just say, hey, good evening. And we went on about our business. Because I understand that a lot of times when they come here, they're trying to just chill out because LA is just nuts, right? I also know that they were filming a movie. They were filming 50 First Dates, right? So they were here working. And because I have worked in production like you, I know that that's sometimes like 20 hours. They just wanted a meal, right? So everything's good. It's super quiet. These tourist family kept coming up and going up to them and asking them questions and then running back to their table. And they did this about 5 times. On the 5th one, I just stopped, and my family, they don't like confrontation at all, right? They're Okinawan, aka Japanese. They're like, no, you just don't get in other people's business. I was like, excuse me, ma'am. And then she looked at me. I was like, listen, I know that you think they belong to you because you see them on TV, but they're people too. I know for a fact they just finished 20 hours of work, and they can't tell you to leave them the F alone because they would be in a newspaper that they're a-holes. But if you worked a 20-hour shift, would you want somebody coming and asking you random crazy questions back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? Please do me a favor. In the Aloha space, sit down, leave them alone, and then just respect their comfort at this moment. Like, go back to your seat. And she looked at me like, well, I never. And then she looked at the husband like he gonna do something. And then I just pulled out the chair and stand up a little bit. And I just looked at them both. And then they sat down and they left them alone. The restaurant does this thing where they do a bananas flambe at I forgot what the real word is for it, but they do this catch on the fire banana type dessert. One came to our table, and then it was just Adam with the little fake tip of the hat, like, because he can't say that, but I can say that, right? And, you know, like when people sometimes feel that the podcaster or the YouTuber or whomever gives somebody the automatic ability to go up to them and think that they're always in that role. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes they just want to be kind of like left alone, right? So how do you maintain that connection with your audience? We always talk about that deep connection, but then still also place a boundary.
Yes. Like, I mean, that all the time, like in our grocery stores, I see people who I've seen on TV all the time. And here, because everybody's...
You live in Cali, so you're right there.
Yeah, like, it's like my grocery stores, I see, like my TV is walking around in the cereal aisle too. And everybody just leaves them be because we're all working. Because where we are, like I live like right near some major studios. So we know people who are in this area are working. Now, it's going to be different when you go a little bit further out. It's going to be different when you go into different places or where... I guess where like the identity that LA can get crazy is because of people who are hired to make things crazy, paparazzi, right? Like,
yes.
So that's what that energy is. Now, when you go to the rest of the world, maybe a little different. Now I'll find keeping that barrier at my gym. I had somebody recognize me, and I'd like not had that happen before. And she's like, "I was just watching you," and I was like, "Cool, thank you." You know, thank you. And then, but like, you know, we like chit chatted a little bit. I was cordial, and then like went on with my business. Same the other way. Like at my gym, there's people who like I definitely watched their movies growing up, and I'm like, hey, don't look at them. You know, so that's like we're us. Like we have to put ourselves in the shoes of the person we maybe want to approach, right? So if we see somebody out in the world, what's the context? Is it a conference where they're ready to like be meeting people? Then that's a different story than like they're just trying to get some groceries. They're just trying to work out. Like I'm not trying to like sign autographs and take pictures or whatever. Not that that's what anybody was asking of me, but like to the other really famous people that I've seen in my gym that you know, they just want to work out and just want to feel like a normal person. And do their thing because they are just regular people with a job. We do not have we don't own them just because they live on our TVs.
Correct.
Because we're in screens, you know, and also that's just like a good thing for us to like on both sides is that we are not bigger than life just because we're on screens. We are
and again,
just people with a job.
To that connection, right? Like the person often isn't the character, right? For what we do, it's a little bit different, but there are some people, like, I want to say, I have met Jimmy, Mr. Beast, in person, and he's close, but I wouldn't say that he's not being authentic when he's on his videos. He's making it match the context of the videos. His personality is similar, but he's also a little bit more reserved. Like, he goes out of his way to put that extra juice on, because you should for a video. That's a proper thing of doing videos. But he also is a little bit more quiet, and he's not waiting for everybody to attack him at the event. And I've also seen people where, I won't mention any names, but you come off on the internet as you're just down to help everybody. And because the Lord put you on the planet to help everybody and be as authentic as possible and be open, and I'm here to help. And then we're at the conference and your session is over and you get to the hallway and you have your handlers just grab you and wish you away. Now, you don't have any other sessions, and it's not a conference like NAB where there's buildings that are 2.5 miles away from each other. This was at the San Diego Convention Hall, and the only thing you did was ran into the speaker room. How do I know? Because I went in there. I know where you was. And you were just sitting there. So you used your handler as an excuse to get you away from answering the audience. That to me is wrong. That is not being the authentic you said you were going to be. And it makes it worse because you use your religion as a way of saying you're the nice person. I almost said the sex, which would have messed it up. But then on the flip side of that, I see Nikki or Diana stand in the hallway an hour after their session, shake every hand, answer every question.
Right. And that's a situational context.
Thank you.
Because people came and they paid to have this in-person experience with the person they see on the internet.
Yes.
This is where the authentic comes into play as a concept of consistency. Like the thing that you show on the videos, we want that to be real in real life, because that's what the audience wants, that experience, because that's the context of this. They paid for that. Now, are you going to be like that all the time? Like you said, Mr. Beast is not like 100% like when he's just chilling at home. But if he shows up with the chilling at home version, or the when he's going through grief or going through anything like real human things, if he shows up in the video with that, depending on how it's executed, it could be like, ooh, a little window into their reality. But
correct.
Also, it's different, right? So if you're doing it intentionally with some purpose, okay, that's one thing. But your authenticity isn't always appropriate.
Correct. 100%. I brought this up in the pre-show. You do not want to hear the surgeon tell you that he's nervous or scared. You don't want to hear the pilot say that, yeah, I see some bad weather up ahead and it has me shitting bricks right now. Like, you just don't want to hear that. You want the pilot to be like, please buckle your seatbelt. You're going to feel a little turbulence, but I'm going to work my way around this, blah, blah, blah. We'll get through it together. That's fine, right? But you don't want to hear the pilot say, ah! That's the last thing you want to hear your pilot say when you feel in your chair. Okay. We're going to ride this sucker till the doors blow off. No, you don't want that. Okay. So I do want to split. Oh, I guess you're going to switch too. So go ahead. I'll let you do the switch.
Oh yeah. So it's like talking about authenticity we look at like a brand sense, right? So if we're talking about like consistency and authenticity. So, I spent time in the Philippines. There's fake purses everywhere. My mom loved to go look at the fake purses. Now, if you look at the fake one versus the real one, not that I spend a lot of time with real ones, but I had a friend that had like a Louis Vuitton. I was like, oh, that's what this is supposed to be. The authentic one is different than the inauthentic one. They're not consistent in the same thing, right? But if you're going to spend and buy the $400 purse, I guess, I don't know how much those cost. They're like, I'm not a purse girl, but if you buy a $400 purse and you buy another $400 purse from the same brand, and one of them's like obviously trash, that's not consistent, and you're going to question the authenticity of the one that isn't good. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. Back in the day when I was young and stupid, from Canal Street, got Louis Vuitton briefcase, and it was so good that I had a person at the time that worked at Louis was like, oh, when did you buy this? Because it was really good. Like, they believed it. And then I showed them where the fake parts were. And they were like, man, this is like 95% past the radar. I had that fake briefcase and the fake rollie. Okay, so I was in marketing sales at that time, and I go to these meetings, and I would, always don my little rollie and bring my little briefcase, and then, we're having all these conversations, we're doing stuff, and I met these people who were putting on a new restaurant at one of the golf courses here where they play the Sony Open. So they invited me to go play golf with them. Now, first of all, I'm relatively new to golf, so I'm not super good, and I told them that. But I was like, yeah, just come through, whatever. And then I'm like, okay, so I make this plan the next week to go meet them at the golf course. When I get to the golf course and it's $280 for the round, I was like, yo, this is going to empty my bank account. But I couldn't pull out at that point. But the dumb part was the reason why they never thought that I would have a problem with a damn near $300 round of golf is because I showed up with a fake $5,000 briefcase and a fake $15,000 watch. So they assumed, $280, no biggie. Homie will play golf with us. I played the round because I ain't stupid, and I got the contract, which kind of covered it. But imagine if the round was to tell us, oh, yeah, we're not going to work with you guys, but, hey, you're great. I just wanted to have fun and just say, hey, if you need us, we'll keep you in mind. Maybe, next season we'll run this particular contract, blah, blah, blah. Those conversations happen on the golf course. But because I was faking the funk, like Kim said in the pre-show, hey, yo, it almost cost me a bunch of bounce checks, bro, I tell you, because that legit emptied my bank account. But luckily, I had the confidence in myself to play it around and know that I could close the deal on that golf course, because it could have been completely tragic. So that's why you don't want to, fake the funk. It's not a good look, bro. It's not a good look.
Yeah, because it could bite you in the butt, right?
It's
so
almost did.
There is like a tension, right, between balancing these things.
Correct.
The being authentic, authenticity, consistency, right? You have to make that balance because people do want to see that you're human. And people do want to relate to you, especially in the context of like our internet content, right? When we're watching a scripted thing, they are playing a part. So it's not authentic. But I will say all the very good actors are pulling from
themselves
something real for them.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I say
they're
Vince
pulling
Vaughn
from something real and like
really
unpacking it.
Any character you see Vince Vaughn in, that is the real Vince Vaughn. I swear to you, I don't know this yet. I haven't met him in person, but I swear, because they're always the same. They're always very much the same. I think whenever character you see Vince Vaughn in, that is legit Vince Vaughn. That is how he is in general,
Yeah. Right. So, but that's like the balance that we have to play as creators, as we are continuing to grow with our audiences. Hopefully that's what we're doing, is growing with our audiences as we grow the audience. But like where the numbers are like, I don't know, the numbers don't really matter. I want the people that I'm growing with to be also developing as humans and as creators and whatnot. So that balance is keeping in mind, what is it that they come here for and how we can grow, right? Where I call myself all the time a professional big sister, right? And when like my sisters or just anyone that I care about comes to me for advice, like they know, like we go to Mary Lou, she's going to be able to figure it out. She's going to be able to like help me talk out a plan and figure out what to do next. So that is like consistent for me. Like they know that, they come to me for that. None of them ever ask how I'm doing because they're like, but Mary Lou knows what she's doing. And that's fine. I have other places for that because this is not the right place for that version of me. So there's versions of you that are authentic. So it's not really like you're keeping secrets from your audience, but you're giving them this version that is a pure, real version of you while taking out the things that isn't necessary for this right here. Because
100%.
It's not like a, the person you're married to, your partner, like people you're really close to, like you want them to be able to see all the parts of you. But your audience and in your content, it's this version. It is a curated version.
Oh, Facts. You know,
That's what
I
they
think
come
that's
to
one
see.
of the biggest problems with relationships in general is pretty much all relationships start with a lie. And then you slowly
Mhm.
let out the truth as you get closer with the person. And that's tough because, you know, people do what they expect, society expects them to do. And so, yeah, it's a little bit different. And it's funny that, you know, if, even business relationships too, it seems like most of them start out with a lie. You slowly can leak your way in, you know, to letting out the real you. And you don't really want that. So to that point, I just want to say this. Just understand that authenticity is a performance. And under most circumstances, what you perceive as authentic, especially in the online concept, is actually a carefully crafted persona that aligns with the expectations of the audience. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's kind of sort of what you should do. Because again, your audience doesn't really want you to be authentic. Your audience wants you to be consistent. Now, your audience doesn't want you to roll up in a toupee and a bunch of weird, like, you know, stuff that's not really you, and then say that, you know, you're selling this shampoo because it makes your hair strong while you're rocking a toupee. Like, that's different. Like, we know the difference between a snake oil salesperson, you know, and someone who's showing you what they've been through. But also, your audience can also tell when the creator is fake crying. Your audience can often tell when the creator comes on and swears to God that they're quitting, and then there's a video 2 weeks later. You know, your audience knows all of this stuff. And your audience will find out that you come on every week with your video about you're just here to help, and then they pay money to go to a conference, and then you whisk your way into the speaker room after and you spend no time. Like, that goes out the window real quick. You know, players who don't sign autographs, they get a certain amount of hate from the fans, especially if they act like they're there for the fans. They told people in an interview they're there for the fans, but they don't sign autographs. It becomes a known quantity, and people, you know, they don't F with you. I just had to use a street term. That's the best way to explain it. So I just want to remind you that, and before we come back with some tips on that authenticity versus authentic, let's dip into picks of the week real quick. And then I have to do my pick of the week. Because I haven't made a sweeper yet.
I love our like lo-fi
the fake lo-fi sweeper.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's like the Go ahead.
I'll say, what's your pick of the week? I'm over here cracking
My
up
pick
to
of the
myself.
week is Carmex, right? Not sponsored by Carmex, but I'm just saying these, like, I have these all the time. And, you know, we're sitting here talking on camera all day. You know, it's good to keep your lips moisturized. Yeah. And I used to swear by this, like, $30 Dior lip balm. And I liked it because it was fancy and I liked the packaging and I thought it was good, but like my lips were always still a little dry, but I was like, I'm probably not using enough. And then Will was like, got me using this Carmex. And I was like, this is better than any of the fancy like lip balms that I have used before. So now this is my ride or die Carmex.
There you go.
I get like a little panicky. It's a little bit like a security blanket. Like if I'm out and I'm like, I don't have a Carmex.
Oh,
what
dude, I'm always checking my pocket for I use straight Vaseline because this medicine I'm taking dries my lip out. And then my doctor said using one like Carmex that has a little medicine in it can actually make it worse. So she told me to just use straight petroleum jelly with nothing else added. And so naturally, if someone says it's actually not petroleum jelly, it's petrolitum, if you say it correctly. Then yeah, so I got Vaseline because it is what it is.
I like Aquaphor for that too.
Jar. Yeah, Aquaphor is good. Oh, I love that one. That was also good. Just plain Jane, all day American petrolighting.
What about
my buddy is in the live chat making fun of us because we come from radio, and he was one of the best imaging people in radio to make the sweepers. You know, like the DJ Doc Rock. My buddy Ryan used to help edit those. When I was talking to you guys last week about when I record my commercials, we were famous for the One Take Jake commercials. I just go in and read my liners, and Ryan used to cut it. So it's super funny
Oh.
that Ryan's here now because he would help cut all of my really good commercials to make me sound awesome. So yeah, my imaging sucks, but hey, pick of the week sweeper is pretty dope. So my pick of the week is this really epic show that I'm into right now. And of course, you know, it has a Japanese twist to it. So I'm in love with it even more. But Rashida Jones has a really epic show on Apple TV Plus called Sunny. If you don't have Apple TV Plus, don't worry. Next week, when you order your iPhone, you'll get 6 months of it. So then watch it because new iPhones come out next Monday. And so you might as well go ahead and get yourself some and watch Sunny. Sunny is good. I can't really tell you about it because it will spoil, but you just have to watch it. You just have
I
to
watched
watch
the pilot of that, and I was like, "Ooh, this is good.
It's good.
It's like stylistically beautiful. It's y'all. Yes, Doc is on to something with this.
It's very good. It's very good. And if there's things in there where you get to something that's a little too Japanesey for you, you don't understand, let me know. I'll explain it to you.
All right. Well, then the next thing is for you to explain something a little Japanesey to us.
Yes.
Is this uchi soto?
Okay, so in Japan, in the general like cultural aspect, there is two circles, right? There's uchi, which is house, that's your inner circle, and then there's soto, which is outside, and it's like it's really weird because to us we would maybe think of that immediately as two-faced. You like act one way to one sort of people, another way to another. But in a way, it's more like there's things that's internal to your house and your family. Like your mom would tell you to sit the F down. And if you do that again, I'm going to slap the S out of you. But she might not say that to you in public because the general public might call CPS. And it's just her style of, either punishing you or giving you that positive feedback, that negative feedback might be misconstrued by other people. Well, you know good and well that your mom's not going to abuse you. But you also got the fear of, hey, man, like, don't mess with Tita. Like, this is going to be bad. You know what I'm saying? This is super off topic, but hella funny. I saw this video of like, what happens when you rob Lola's house? And the person came in and they were stealing stuff, the tennis racket. They opened the drawer. They're stealing all this stuff. And then she comes out of the room. She's like, psst, boy, are you in my house with your shoes on? Never mind that he's stealing the stuff. It's the fact that he's walking around her carpet with the shoes on. And then she takes the slipper off and she starts beating the crap out of him. It had nothing to do with him stealing. It was wearing his shoes in the house. And then he's like, oh my God, please don't hit me. She goes, oh, now you take the Lord's name in vain? Because, to a Filipino mom, shoes in the house or saying God's name in vain will get you more beat than stealing her stuff. And so it was funny, but that's sort of a Uchi Soto type of concept, right? You are going to, like I was explaining earlier, to Yolanda being brand new to the Gold Group and seeing Doc completely unfiltered is even more different than you got about a 90% unfiltered right here, but inside the Gold Group it's pure. Like it's pure. Like all of the hate comes off.
Okay, and so with this inner circle, outer circle, all of that is still real. It's not like it's real. A character. It's all still real. It's just the level of real. So in our live audience today, Tora's asking, is it possible to be too real with your audience? And I'd say yes.
100%. I'm not going to tell the audience about my vaginal itch. That's too far. But I might explain, I'm having a cold or I'm having some sort of virus or you know what? Like I explained to the group the other day, my high blood pressure all of a sudden went psycho. I had to go to the doctor. But I don't know if I would get into some, other crazy stuff. Like I'm not going to get into, gastrointestinal problems or whatever. You know what I mean? But in the same token, Diana is very open about her endo. Because that is something that has to do with women's health. And if it's not properly taken care of, like it could be really, really detrimental. But she has to tell people that because she doesn't want people expecting her to be there every week. There's some weeks where she legit can't move. She says, so if I all of a sudden disappear, I'm okay. It's just my endo flares really, really badly, and I can't hella function like that. And so I don't think that's being too real. I think that is something that more people should talk about, or even for instance, in the Black community, being open about our mental instabilities. Like that's something that we used to hide, but now we have to talk about it. Or guys needing to talk more about being emotionally available. But then there's so to Tor's point though, there's some conversations about being emotionally available, and then there's just coming to the internet whining for attention and acting like bi for lack of a better phrase, just because you want to absorb every eyeball in the room. So there's definitely
Right.
there's a balance, man. As everything, there's a
It's
balance.
context. It's context, right? What is it appropriate for this social contract, right? So when I think about what the audience is and the authentic version, the consistent version, is this like the contract with like me and the audience is like this audience, this specific audience, what we've agreed to is this kind of experience. So I want to provide that kind of experience, which is real parts of me, right? But we're not going to just talk about anything. This is
Yeah,
what we talk about here,
right,
because it's a big
right.
old internet. You can find an audience for anything that is authentic to you, but it's making a choice as to how that shows up, how that appears, and how can you do that authentic version of you consistently.
Okay, I'll put a prime example out there, and this is heavily authentic, and yeah. So naturally, everybody knows I'm ex-military, and I definitely am the drill sergeant role. I don't want to say I play the drill sergeant role. I am the drill sergeant role. Like I'll put my foot in your butt 24/7. However, I have worn the badge too strong to the point where I miss the signs of a dear friend asking for help, and all they wanted you to do was sit there, shut the hell up, and listen, and not constantly be with the F that man up, pull your drawers up, let's get over it. Right? So I have over drill sergeanted to the point where I really pissed off a dear friend and it was messed up, right? So even if it is really you, it ain't always about you, pimp. Sometimes you gotta let it the hell go. Everyone knows I'm still the drill sergeant, but I am also better at realizing that this doesn't require one of your motivational talks. This requires you to shut the fuck up and listen. Sorry, explicit tag, you're catching this one. Sometimes even the drill sergeant needs to shut the fuck up and listen and really help, right? So as a paramedic, we don't necessarily cry when the patient dies, but you can't just look at the mom whose baby just died and be like, hey, this is life, this is what happens, right? You still have to turn on a level of care, comfort, and concern that is commensurate to that particular situation. And so sometimes in the authentic being real, and going back to the GOAT, there's some people who claim that they're being real or just using it as an excuse to be an asshole. And being real does not necessarily equate to being an asshole. Sometimes you can still be the character. And I know that the same friend, now that we repaired our relationship, would come to me if they needed the foot in the ass. But I also know when they come to you to tell you something that they just need you to listen, this is a sit your ass down, crack this whiskey, don't say shit, just hear what I gotta say. So unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way. It almost cost me one of my most valuable friends in being too real. To Tora's point from back in the top of the
Right.
key, the top of the key, like we playing basketball.
Well, it's like when I think about us as content creators, essentially we're hosts. And if you're hosting a party, a gathering, a meeting, anything, and you're like, today, this meeting, when we talk about this thing, this party, we're gonna have birthday cake, right? At a birthday party, we're gonna have birthday cake. But like, you know what? I wasn't feeling birthday cake, so we're having, I don't know, Brussels sprouts. But a social contract. I thought we were gonna have birthday cake. And you're like, no, I don't want birthday cake.
Yeah.
It it's just being a bad host. Now, if
Correct.
you're ahead of the time and you're like, hey, listen, we couldn't make birthday cake today, but we're gonna make something else work, you know, or we're gonna have birthday cake next time, or still want to be a good person. You still want to communicate. Like there's it's the tension, it's the balance. Because it's not to say you can't, but your job as the host is to strive to get as close to this thing you've promised to do with your audience that wants to participate with you.
All right, so I'm gonna give you some reading the room tips because I see people in the chat talking about reading the room. If you are ready to go on into your video and you want to let out something about something that's going on internal to your life, this is not a steadfast rule, but I think it's a very good litmus test. Would my explaining this argument between Will and myself also help the audience, or I'm just looking for people to be on my side to help me be mad at Will? Right? First,
It's different things.
Will is a sweetheart. I don't see you being mad at Will, but he just
No, he's
might,
the best.
He might be putting on the Eddie Haskell. Oh, hi guys. No, I'm joking. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if explaining this or having this conversation with the audience could possibly help them in some way, shape, or form, then maybe that's worth sharing. If you're just looking for a pat on the back and an attaboy and attention or whatever, you should probably keep that to yourself. You know what I mean? And will you explaining this put danger in a bad light? Like, would you unnecessarily cast a crusty light upon him, even if that's not your intention? Right? Like with other people, like, man, if I see him, I'm going to pull his beard. Oh, he don't have one of those anymore. You know
Not
what
anymore.
I mean? Like, but that's just, it's just not the thing, right? So yeah, that's a good litmus test. I think the other thing that's, tips, again, I want you to walk away from any Creators Unstuck show with valuable assets that you can use in your daily aspect in order to try to get to where you're trying to get. All right? Focus on being helpful. Rather than obsessing over what's authentic or not authentic, let's just focus on creating that content that is genuinely helpful and valuable to your audience. If you can, that's why I say YouTube is not a side hustle, it's a side helpful. I'm out here trying to be helpful, right? I ain't saying it works, but I'm going to try to be helpful at all costs. So again, if I got to put my drawers out here and it's helpful to stop somebody else from having same set screwed up drawers, maybe I will let that out. But if it's not, it's not good. You know what I'm saying? And then true authenticity is earned. True authenticity is earned through consistent actions and delivering on promises, because the number one cause of stress is broken promises. I'm done.
To yourself and to others.
Yeah, true to you is the most important one.
Yes.
True to you is the most important one.
I really enjoyed this conversation because it is something that when I hear people like, just be authentic, it's like it's more nuanced than that.
Yeah, it kind of grinds my gears. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but it's, and that's where we talk about it being a myth, because myths are based in telling some kind of story that's related to reality. But there's a lesson to be learned. There is stuff to pull from it, but you're not going to die if you eat an apple. Like, there's things to learn, but it's not necessarily the whole truth.
Yeah, and
so I hope that you got to learn some stuff with that.
From eating an apple either, right? Apple a day keeps the doctor away. Nah, dude, the apple a day probably spike your glucose. So
depends on you, right?
It depends on you, right? Right. There are things that are just being being Justin, I'm cracking up. Sorry, my train of thought got thrown because Tora said, "There goes my $1 million Just Be Authentic T-shirt hustle idea." That is too good. See, this is why you got to be part of the live studio audience, people, so you can break Doc's train of thought, which is easily breakable.
Squirrel zone. Well, if you want to connect with us, we're creators Unstuck on YouTube, on I believe Instagram as well. If you want to connect with us, and you can find me all over the internet. I'm Mary Lou Mandel.
Yes, and I'm all over the internet as Doc Rock, normally hyper and yelling and screaming, but I definitely have these days where I'm just like, nobody talk to me, leave me alone. So, you know what I mean? Like both can be actually there, right? I definitely have my Uchi Soto moment. So this was really cool, Mary Lou. I'm glad we decided to talk about this today. And hopefully we've been able to help you get unstuck.
Unstuck.
Boom. I'm gonna get more questions from Ryan about my imaging. I don't have a unstuck. All right, guys. You know how we end this show? We end it with a see you. That was super funny. Gang, that was dope. That was dope. Let me check the chat real quick. Let me see y'all got anything cool to say in there. Boom, boom, boom. Ryan said, trying to be you is helpful, is also authentic you, because Jewish starting you always try 100%. It does try to come out, but like sometimes you got to just be chilled out. Oh, listen, now you done woke up June. See what you did, Ryan? You woke up June. Thank you, Tora. Porcupines can be pets too. She's wrong. She's so wrong.
So if William's still in the audience, Mullane is talking about like using a dock pop for the DJI mic. I think this is what he's asking about. It's something like this.
Yeah, put the shorty on top. Yeah, but
this one like doesn't really fit. Hold on.
That one should
this
fit.
One. Yeah. Yeah. Like, so if this is the kind of thing you're trying to build, you could do it. I would maybe even, let's see if we keep this one on here, but maybe it's too muffled.
It fits on my Rode one because the Rode's a little bit wider.
Yeah.
You would need to double them up. Double them up would be unnecessary. Yeah.
It holds better with that one.
And don't you have an Interview Pro?
Yeah, I do.
It fits perfectly on the Interview Pro. Oh, you were charging it. Girl was getting ready to do something. She over here, she got the body open. I mean, she about to do something. Oh, I'm gonna do something to you.
Gem is excitement. Ooh, Gem.
Hey, the little project we worked on Sure gets announced tomorrow. So hopefully sometime today I have a chance to make this here video. But our little Secret Squirrel Sure project comes out on the 4th, and today is the 3rd.
Ooh, that's exciting. That's exciting. You guys are gonna like this if you guys are, if you'll like it. Life. That's all I can say.
If you're
about that life, it's about to happen. It's about to go down. Well, I've got my live stream later. If you guys want to join me, that's at like 2 p.m. Pacific time. We're gonna talk about content strategy today because it's been on my mind.
Oh, gangster.
Content strategy being like we talk about creator therapy because I'm building Video Creator Club. And I'm trying to think of like, if I put myself in the shoes of the person who I want to be in this club, is somebody who wants to make videos. They maybe got to the point where like they know how to make their camera work. They got a microphone. They got light. But then I sat down in front of the camera and I was like, okay, all I got is my phone, the gear, got all of that. Now talk. Blank page is very, very challenging. Right? Where like some people can thrive in it, and in some days I can thrive in it. It's situational. But if we do a little strategy, which is creator therapy if you're going on a personal level, strategy if you're talking on a more like logistical level, then you can get somewhere. So that's what we want to talk about today.
When I get those days where it's a little bit stuck, I have this device, and you go like this, and you put some leaves in it, and you put the top on it, and you go like this a little bit, and then you take those leaves out, you put them in this thing, and you burn it, and you inhale. All of a sudden, you can just write for days, and you get hungry.
Well, I don't participate in that, so.
You know what I'm saying? Like blank page is definitely a thing. You know, I think people on your phone, you have it available. I think you have to download it because Apple is more careful about making you automatically have things on your phone. But there is an app known as the Journal app, and it came out like a wee bit ago for the iPhone. It's part of Apple, so you know your content is safe and no one's gonna steal all your stuff. But it just in here it says start journaling, and so there's a little plus button, and you hit that, and it will give you journaling suggestions, right? And so you can say turn on the journaling suggestions, and then you say turn on the notifications, and then now you can have private access suggestions or open ones, and it says evening visit to some particular place, evening swim. It's looking at some of the things that I did, and then let me fire this up real quick. So if I were to select a moment and write, it will show me this coffee that I was making, and then I hit that button, and it says, "What is the best part of spending time at home?" Okay, and then so you can go ahead and you write upon that. This will help you get over the blank page. Now, it does have the ability to get access to your camera, right? And so under the camera portion, just select video and then flip the camera around and answer the question. It gave you the prompt, just answer that question. If you do that every day, just answer those prompts in video format, your ability to just pull something out of your butt will get better and better and better and better. And that's why you see some people, even the professionals, when they get interviewed, like right after the game, they pull up a wide receiver and they be like, "All right, Mr. Duncan, that was a fantastic win. Tell me what it was like when you scored that last touchdown, against the Chiefs." And Paul be like, it was great. Like, because that person doesn't spend enough time practicing the camera. Then you could tell the guys who spent the time to their agent makes them go through media training.
It is
And
training. Yes, it's just like being in the gym.
First of all, I want to say thank you to Coach Mary Lou, because she had me out here. She's adjusted my diet. She has me getting up early in the morning doing these things. But above all, she's been having me reading a lot. And so what that does is it clears my mind up. And you wouldn't think they're related, but because she has me reading all these books, I feel like when I get in the game, my mind is clear. And I can, if I get nervous, I can just think about something else and it switches off right away. And then I can get back into it. So you'll see those people, right? The guys who are really, really good on camera. It's only from practice, fam. So if you find yourself blank paging, you know what you need to do? Sit down to blank page more often. I never get blank page syndrome, but I spend a lot of time writing in here or just speaking out loud to the camera. So all of the above,
and that's what we want to talk about later.
Yeah,
it's because the people are the ones who aren't yet practiced, right? So they may not know to practice yet. So we're gonna get you there. There's tons of stuff you can do, but it all is like reps. 100%. Basically, everything in life is reps.
Yeah, I'm about to go rep some coffee. I'm doing another stream in 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness, with who?
My buddy Jason Howell, he was one of the guys on Twit that used to always handle the back end, and he started this new thing called Tech Exploder. And it's just I just have to talk story with him.
This will be your third show for the day?
Third show for today. You know what it is, fam.
Bless.
3 a days.
Yeah, those are the days. That's why you do the reps. So when those days come, you can.
And then I'm sure now that June and Ryan are here and they went to the same high school, that my brother and my friend will be harassing me in the chat at some point in time in my phone. So I'm just preparing for that. As soon as I take it off and do not disturb, there's going to be some S talking popping off over there. Guys, thank you for this. We'll be back Tuesday. Lou is taking a new class on Saturday. What is your class again?
The dance class.
Oh, that's right. She's gonna be like, I'm gonna stop. She's gonna do her dance class. Oh, it's gonna be good. I can't wait.
It's like it's been like a long time since I've taken dance the way that I want to, like in a structured class. So I'm excited to get back into it. It's that thing like we were talking about, like when you said with the coach, you need to be reading stuff. I need other things to be able to make sure I stay full and ready for you guys.
There it is. There it is. All right, gang. I'm gonna go ahead and play the hype song real quick. Boom. So good. I should never listen to this when I'm driving. There will be a speeding ticket.